Please stand. Dear God, today as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Councilor Elliott.
Here.
Mayor Kennedy.
Here.
Council Leahy.
Here.
Council Leary.
Here.
Council Mercier.
Here.
Council Milonazo.
Here.
Council Rourke.
Here.
Council Samaras. Council Belanger.
Here.
8 present.
Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to take this moment to offer a moment of silence in darkened chambers for the Chow family. This was the young man who was tragically killed in a boating accident off Salisbury Beach. He and his family are from Lowell. They live in Lowell. They've raised their 2 children in Lowell. And Choo Choo, as they call him, he was a dedicated family man. He was committed to his community in the Cambodian community, but he also loved the city of Lowell. He leaves behind a wife and 2 children, and I wanted to offer a moment of silence for him and his family. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Next on the mayor's business, there was supposed to be a presentation this evening from the Pine Arts School. The Pine Arts School had called a couple of days ago and asked that they be put off until the next meeting. They thought that there was going to be a much larger crowd here and that there may not be room for the students. So that'll come up at the next regularly scheduled meeting. Next under the city clerk, we have the minutes of the city council meeting for May 30th. The council special meeting for June 6th for acceptance. We have a motion to accept and place on file by Council Milonazo, second by Council Rourke. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next on the communications from the manager, we have a special event to showcase the Hamilton Canal Innovation District. Any discussion on that item? Council Belanger.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like an explanation from the manager if I could. This has been a long-awaited event, and the manager could give us a briefing on what's going to take place.
Thank you. Kevin Coughlin from the Division of Planning and Development has been coordinating this. So, Kevin, could you just come up and give a brief synopsis of what's going on that day?
To the members of the council. On June 21st, in response to the motion, the DPD in the city has worked through the Office of the Mayor and the City Manager to coordinate a very targeted promotional event of the Hamilton Canal District. We gathered together a series of 6 community leaders working in that field. We put together a program. We helped target Greater Lowell and Greater Boston, commercial and residential, and also multi-purpose brokers that have interest in large developments. And we have brought them forward to a meeting on that day, the 21st, at 10:30 in the morning. We've also assembled the program with Jay Ash from Boston, leaders from the city, members from the business community, and also from the education community, UMass President Martin Meehan, to make presentations. In addition to that, we have affirmations of the pro-business environment and also the work that has been done to create the best environment possible for investment in the Hamilton Canal District.
Thank you, Kevin, that's outstanding. So, I mean, how far does this reach go? So we got Greater Boston, more or less, so, you know, sort of those companies are down, you know, down the 128 belt and the Seaport District, and that is our reach going that far, may I ask?
Yes, Counselor, actually, in addition to Greater Boston, we've actually worked with Mass Development, and we've worked with several of the large brokers to see if we can interest large commercial developers who may in fact be so large that they do some national projects in other cities. So we'll have communication going right now with some developers that have done work in Cambridge and have done work in other parts of Boston, specifically in the Seaport area, but they're so large that they do in multiple states. So we're trying to interest them to come also and bring some of their ideas and some of their talent to bear, see if they may be interested in investing in Lowell.
That's great news, Kevin. Now, sort of alluding to this now, do we have any concrete dates from as far as the MassWorks grant to bring in the utilities, do we have any dates yet when at least it's going out to bid, or do we have anything definitive in that front as of yet?
Yes, the design is being completed right now. I met with DPD yesterday, and I've asked them to expedite it because it was originally anticipated that it wouldn't be until the following spring, but I want to get it moved up to the fall, so we're doing everything we can to get it done to have shovels in the ground this fall.
Oh, we're looking at shovels in the ground in fall.
That's
Okay.
what I'm working on to expedite, because we need to get that moving over there.
Yes, we do. It's going to be hard to land a tenant, I mean, without utilities coming in, obviously. Okay, and how long do we anticipate the work to take place, Mr. Manager?
2 years, I think it is. 2 years.
A 2-year project? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion on this item? Counselor Leary, then Counselor Leahy.
Now, just to build off, I know it's a little different, but when are we beginning the final drawing of the connector and the changes we're going to make there? I know that's still, we have one more, I guess, one more.
Diane, can you come up for a minute? This is, when is the design of the connector? You mean the design of the lot overpass?
Yes, light overpass, I'm sorry.
Right.
I think of the connector because it's really beginning at the
No,
connector.
because
coming-
we've got segmented projects all the way down. No, it's a good question, because we have the widening of Thorndike Street, you've got the lot overpass, and then you've got the MassWorks. So the design on the lot overpass, when are we expecting that?
That's ongoing, and as you know, we incorporated the Thorndike Street widening into the plan, so we should be working on that in the next 18 months or so, and then have it put out for construction. They're breaking it down into phases, and I'm not sure about the actual construction date, but you'll start to see some things happening, and certainly the design.
No, so I guess the target for that would be what, 2020? So that was the goal, I think, to have both these come into place at 2020, correct? So I think that's really, before a lot's going to happen, you have to have access to get there. Obviously, as Councilor Belanger stated, without water and sewer, you're not going to have anybody building anything. So the target date really for max, implementation is really going to be 2020, correct? Or
Right, no, and as I said, we've been working with one developer to do something on that side of the canal, but in all fairness to him, he's not going to enter
Not
into a
gonna do it.
purchase
Why
and
would-
sales agreement until there's some utilities over there, and he can show his financing agency that there's something there to build. So, yeah, that's why I'm trying to move it up as quickly as can be so we can get him to sign the dotted line.
Okay, and what about, the last question, just what about the parking lot swap with the national park? Is that something that's going to happen, or is there any progress on
Sure, it's going to happen,
that?
but that's not critical to the construction of the garage. We've finished the design, and it's going out to bid.
We're working on the design of the
No,
parking garage.
we're still working on the
Yes,
design,
yeah.
finishing, yeah, that's right. The design went out to bid.
Right.
We're working on the design, but
That's right.
the land swap will not get in the way of constructing that garage.
Okay, what timeframe you think, that 2020 as well, when you think for implementation?
I think a lot of things are all going to be happening at the same
Got
time.
to sharpen the scissors for 2020 in
Yeah.
my,
Good, thank you very much.
okay.
Counselor Leahy.
Thank you. So just on the rotary up there, are we gonna fix that broken part yet? Are we waiting for insurance money, or on the Lord overpass where a car went through the railing a few months ago, there's just cement barriers up there? Are we gonna fix that before if we're not gonna do this project until 2020, right? Might as well.
Yeah, that'll
Okay.
be done, that'll be done before.
That was just a side thing. But with the Hamilton Canal, have we been in discussion with anybody up on Mill 5, like maybe that whole marketplace, they might be looking to expand, or somebody up there might have a business plan that they want to do? I think they should be invited to be part of the conversation with any new commercial work or
Actually,
openings or buildings or whatever.
yeah,
I mean,
we actually have some people in our Economic Development Department over at 110 Canal. They have office hours several times a month, and they work very closely with 110 Canal, and also they're over there with Mill Number 5 people and talking to them all the time. So
They
we
have
are in
quite a
touch.
unique thing going there.
It's
and
great,
If
yeah.
they could expand that, or if they wanted to, I mean, part of the uniqueness is what they have, but that's, they may want to be part of the development over there.
And you're going to see that we're going to be asking to enter into our Canalway Cultural District again. And this time, we include Jackson Street, where Mill Number 5 is, in the Cultural District also. So
Okay.
that should help out, spur some activity there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Manager, what is the status of the mass developer at this point? Is there still a mass developer who would come forward to do development in?
No. We
There's
have an
not.
RFP out for a new master developer, and it's timed perfectly with this open house, because we're hoping that we can get somebody interested in this open house to be the master developer, if at all possible. So we've timed the RFP to coincide with this open house at the Hamilton Canal to try and drum up some support, not only if there's an individual developer, but if there's a master developer that would like to take over the whole project.
So Wind Development, they've left, they're gone?
Yes,
As a result of their resignation?
yes.
So those two buildings, there is no development going on in the district
two
right
buildings?
now? Well, they had proposed two market rate development
And
buildings.
they have sent, and pursuant to your motion, I've met with Wind Development, and what they've done is they have presented to us a purchase and sales agreement for parcels 8 and 9. It's in the negotiation stage because their purchase price and their timeframe isn't aggressive enough for me, so we are negotiating with Wind Development, but I hope to have a purchase and sales agreement for review and consideration by the city council in the near future.
So part of their development, I thought it was they were going to do commercial development on parcel 5. Is that not in consideration now?
No,
They've
but
walked
we
away
are
from that?
working with another developer. We're working with a Lowell-based company
Okay.
who's interested in doing a building on parcel number 5. They're trying to get financing right now to do it.
One of my concerns is the loss of that MassWorks grant that was awarded to the city.
Right.
One of the conditions is to have a master developer, so,
Well, actually, it's not the MassWorks, it's the EDA one.
EDA grant,
Right,
excuse me.
right,
Yeah.
but you're right. We have to that's why we're pushing to get this master developer as soon as possible. Because in order to get that money, it's to get it released, we need to have a master developer.
Okay.
And that's for the Signature Bridge.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any further discussion? If not, moving on, next is a communication for the recommendation regarding the school building committee. That's been withdrawn. And next is the communication for the city manager requesting out-of-state travel for the one person from the library department. Do we have a motion to approve the out-of-state travel by Council Mercy, second by Council Milonazo? Discussion, roll call.
Counselor Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras. Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Next is vote from the city manager regarding executing a temporary access agreement at 350.4 Dutton Street. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading and go to the second reading, authorizing the city manager to execute a temporary access agreement between the city of Lowell and Jane's Industrial Moving Incorporated relative to 350.4 Dutton Street in Lowell, Massachusetts. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion approved by Council Rourke, second by Council Milonazo. Discussion, roll call.
Counselor Elliott. Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras. Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Next is a vote renewing the Lowell Canalway Cultural District in the city of Lowell. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading and go to the second reading. Renewing the Lowell Canalway Cultural District in the city of Lowell. Do we have a motion to approve? A motion approved by Council Milonazo, second by Council Leary. Discussion, all in favor, roll call.
Counselor Elliott. Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras. Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
7 yeas.
Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped over, the communication from the city manager should be accepted, placed on file by Council Milonazo, second by Council Roque. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed. Next is a vote to approve the preferred site for Lowell High School. That's withdrawn. Let me just give everybody a little update. What I'm hearing is that Council Samaras probably will be out of the hospital as early as tomorrow, and I would anticipate that City Council would meet in a special meeting either on Monday or Tuesday, depending on Councilor Samaras, really. So it would be one of those days, and that meeting would be dedicated solely to the vote on the high school. And anybody that's registered for today would be able to speak at that time without having to re-register. Next is a vote to...
Mayor,
Yeah, Council Milonazo.
once that date is set, will the school building committee meet as well?
Yeah, the school building committee would meet on the morning of the same day.
Okay,
Or
thank
at
you.
some time on the same day.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, do we just want to pick that now? So I'm not around Monday, actually, so.
So you'd rather
Just
do it
want to do
Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to set up for Tuesday at 6:30 then?
Yeah, I mean, we might as well pick the date now, right? And just,
Okay.
so
Okay,
next
so motion by
Tuesday at
Council Abe,
6:30.
second by Council Milonazo to have the special meeting on Tuesday at 6:30. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Mr. Manager, you will, who calls a special meeting of this, or the school building committee will send out a notice?
I'll send out a notice that we will have that meeting Tuesday morning at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
Moving on, next is to endorse a 5-year financing plan relative to the acquisition and repair of the Tiger Grant bridges. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading and go to the second reading, authorizing an amendment to the City of Lowell's comprehensive 5-year capital improvement plan to relocate funding towards the Tiger Grant Bridge. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion approved by Council Belanger, seconded by Council Milonazo. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Mayor?
Council Belanger, I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. Mr. Mayor, through you to the manager. Mr. Manager, we were looking at about an approximate $11 million shortfall here. How did it get down to $7 million, may I ask?
Okay, what we did is, we were, at the 25% design stage, it was coming in to be about $11 million over budget. So what we did is we sat down and we revised the scope of the project. The Suffolk Bridge had recent repairs by Enel to it, so it's in good shape. And plus, the Suffolk Bridge has one of the lowest car counts of all of the bridges in the original proposed project. So we dropped the Suffolk Bridge from the plan to acquire. The second thing is we looked at the contingencies we had. We looked at police detail. We just sharpened our pencils and did everything we could to reduce the costs of the project. We did some creative engineering. We looked at the plans. So we got the deficit down to about $7 million. That's what our estimate is right now after reducing the scope of the project and doing some creative engineering. So it's down to $7 million. I reached out to the state delegation. I really have to congratulate them, especially Senator Eileen Donoghue. We worked with the Mass Department of Transportation, and the Massachusetts Department of Transportation has committed to fund $3.5 million in their capital plan to address half of the $7 million deficit. So we're down to 3.5. I'm fully confident. We've been very successful in securing grants during the term of this administration. There's another round of MassWorks grants coming up this fall that we've already started drafting our application for. We'll be lobbying for that MassWorks grant. And hopefully I'm going to be able to offset some of this $3.5 million that still remains as a deficit. However, in order to appease the Federal Highway Administration and ensure them that we would have the funds available to go forward with the Tiger Grant, we need this vote to say that if we don't get those grant monies, we're going to use money that we have in the future capital plans to offset any deficit. Connor Baldwin has looked at that plan that we have before you tonight, and he feels that it's affordable and that we can, this project is far too important not to go forward with it.
I would agree, Mr. Manager. Well done. Now, what has the university chipped into this point?
$2 million.
$2 million, and I'm assuming that's it? That's okay. Okay, well, I like our track record pursuing grants, Mr. Manager. We've got a very effective grant writing team, and hopefully we can narrow that deficit down to more acceptable levels. I mean, this is what happens when you deal with old infrastructure. And it is unfortunate, but I can see you're addressing the issue, so please keep the council informed, Mr. Manager. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council Leahy.
Thank you.
Councilman Mendoza.
I just wanted to say, nice work on that, but I wouldn't let the university off so easy. I know the money all comes from the same pot, but we should send them another letter asking them that, they're partners in this with us, and they need to step up with something. So they use just as many bridges as we do with their buses and everything. So I would ask that we reach out to them one more time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mendoza.
Thank you. You mentioned Federal Highway Administration. You're confident that if we take this vote tonight, that money will be left alone? Because again, you're hearing all kinds of stories coming out of Washington these days. So again, these monies were probably FY17 monies when they were originally approved, and we're obviously going to be taking some FY18 money as of October 1st. So if you're confident, then that's
No, they
good.
assured, and actually, they were rather honest with us. That's
Okay.
one of the reasons. It's been rather hurried lately because
Right.
they said, you better commit, or
Yeah.
we can't guarantee anything down the road. So they said, they gave us a deadline of the end of this month.
Okay.
And so, otherwise, they said, I can't guarantee it, but if you get this done, we'll guarantee. And they sent a follow-up email, Claire, today, correct? They sent a follow-up email saying, if you get this done, we'll commit the Tiger Grant money
Great.
to you.
Great. Well, congratulations.
Council Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Lastly, one question, Mr. Mayor, through you to the manager. Mr. Manager, bottom line, is this going to result in any kind of a delay in the repairs of the bridge?
No, Federal Highway actually wants us to get moving as quickly as possible. That's one of the reasons we had this conference call and move it along. I mean, they want an immediate closing with an L, and they're looking for a bid date of September. Is it September? Claire, can you come up for a second? Claire Ricker is our project manager for the. When do you expect the constructions to start on the first bridge?
So the bid date now is mid-July, mid to late July. It was originally scheduled for July 8th. We've asked for a small extension to get the right-of-way under control. We imagine we'll probably be awarding a contract right around the end of August or September 1st, and that contractor will have to get underway as soon as possible, as much as they can do that fall and then in the next construction season.
Very good. Okay, Mr. Manager, we're right on top of it. That's great news. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion? Later on in the agenda, 9.2, I have a motion on that kind of asks for the same information that the manager has provided. So if there's no objection, I'll withdraw that motion. I'm sure everybody be in favor of doing that.
Yes. How about the other three?
Okay, so,
Just saying.
roll call?
Counselor Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counselor Leahy.
Yes.
Counselor Leary.
Yes.
Counselor Mercia.
Yes.
Counselor Milonazo.
Yes.
Counselor Rourke.
Yes.
Counselor Samaras. Counselor Belanger.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Next, from the city manager, we have an order for a 60-day trial at various locations. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading, go to the second reading. Pursuant to Chapter 266 of the Code of Ordinances in the City of Lowell, Massachusetts concerning Section 266-6 thereof, entitled Temporary Experimental Regulations, temporary traffic regulations are hereby implemented for a period of 60 days. We have a motion to approve. Motion approved by Counsel Milonazo, seconded by Counsel Rourke. Discussion on the motion, roll call.
Counselor Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras. Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Next, under reports, we have a report from the wire inspector for Verizon requesting the installation of an underground conduit at Market and Hanover Street. Chair would entertain a motion to accept and adopt the accompanying order by Counsel Milonazo, second by Counsel Mercia. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, from the wire inspector of National Grid is a request to install one new pole located at 174 Jewett Street. Chair would entertain a motion to accept and adopt the accompanying order by Counsel Milonazo, seconded by Counsel Rourke. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, under petitions, we have a petition to request the installation of a loading zone sign at 226 Appleton Street. The chair would entertain a motion to refer to the traffic engineer for report and recommendation by Counsel Leary, seconded by Counsel Leahy. Discussion on the motion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, under city council motions, you wanna-
We're going to city council motions. Motion 9.1 by Mayor Kennedy. Request city manager instruct the proper departments to look into ways to reduce speeding on East Merrimack Street. Second by Council Milonazo, Mayor Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This motion came in through the mayor's office, and so I think the motion speaks for itself, if I can say that, and I won't say anything else, so it really will speak for itself.
All those in favor, all those opposed, motion passes. Motion 9.3 of the evening, also by Mayor Kennedy. Request city manager update city council on any potential funding for an environmental impact study for the Rourke Permanent Bridge. Second by Councilor Leary, Mayor Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This motion doesn't speak for itself, and I think that this is an important motion, and I think we're going to lose the day if we, unless we become a little more aggressive. Recently, I became aware that there is a line item for an environmental impact study for the New Rourke Bridge, but it's funded at like $100,000, which is far less than what we need. But we did do a feasibility study several years ago that was funded by the federal government at a cost of over $500,000. And the shelf life on that feasibility study is going to run out unless we can get get the state interested in doing an environmental impact study for the bridge. Now, I realize that just early in the agenda that we received some state money for other bridges, but the Rourke Bridge is important, and it's a much larger project. And I think we really need to focus on it, or else if we drop the ball on this environmental impact study, then what we're going to end up with is having to do a feasibility study all over again and go back to go. And I'm not sure where we're going to get the money to do that, because I wouldn't think much of the federal government if they gave us $500,000 to do it over again, quite frankly. So I think, Mr. Manager, that what you should try to do is put together a strategy to be a little more aggressive about getting the environmental impact study, and that would involve getting the delegation to be a little more aggressive about it as well. I think if we don't get this going in the next 18 months, it's going to be lost and we'll go back to go. And I think it's really important not just for Pawtuckaville, but for the entire city. Thank you.
Council Leary.
Just to echo off the motion, definitely support the motion. I think not only our delegation, but this is something that impacts, Chelmsford as well. And reaching out to State Representative Arcero and some of I don't know who the state senators out there, but I think tying that into our delegation, because it's a matter of safety for the town of Chelmsford and the town of Tingsboro as well. And, it's something that if we don't get going in this area, like Councilor Mayor Kennedy articulated, we're going to lose this funding. And that's $500,000 is a lot of money to lose. So if anything we can do on our end, if there's a meeting we should be setting up, not only with the delegation or with anybody in particular in the state, I think that's something we should be doing, and then tying in more of the surrounding towns that are also going to be impacted by this bridge. Thank you.
Council Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Well, as a representative, the council representative to NEMCOG, I'd be glad to give you all an update. That feasibility study that was conducted years ago has a shelf life remaining of approximately 12 months at best. So we have a year before that expires, and we start this process all over again. So I think it's a good motion, a very timely motion. So, Mr. Manager, I know, you believe me, your work cut, excuse me, is cut out for you here, but time is of the essence, as you can see. And this is very important that, you know, that we'll have to start, and then not only look for this money, but come up with another $500,000. It's probably closer to $1 million in today's dollars, but we'll be really up against it. So that's how urgent the situation is, Mr. Manager. So thank you very much, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Council. Any comments? No? All those opposed?
Mr. Vice Chair.
Oh, Council Elliott, go ahead.
So, just maybe through you to the NEMCOG representative, Council Belanger. So the shelf life, the feasibility study has 5 years, and it's about to expire, and there's a $100,000 earmark put into the budget, which is, I think it's just a drop in the bucket. Isn't it a $2 million environmental impact statement, environmental
Yes,
assessment?
Councilor Elliott, if I could, I think what's important is that there's a line item for it, so money can be added to the line item, but that hasn't happened yet, and
Right.
it's not going to happen unless they hear pretty loudly from the city that we're very interested in that.
Is it, what is the estimated cost of that EIS?
Mr. Manager?
There's actually a line item with $1.9 million in it in Mass DOT
Okay.
for an environmental study. And I know the delegation has been trying to free up that money for this environmental study, and Mass DOT has been very reticent to release that money for the Rourke Bridge. As a matter of fact, part of my negotiations with them, they said, we'll give you the $1.9 million for the Enel bridges. And I said, absolutely not. I said, that 1.9, and the delegation is firmly committed that that 1.9 is for the Rourke Bridge. So there is money there sufficient to do the environmental study. It's just getting Mass DOT to agree to release the money to do the environmental study, and I know that's, myself and the delegation have been working hard to get them to do that. But at this point in time, they've still balked at releasing that money.
So, Mr. Vice Chair, so through to you, pardon me, so that 1.9 is in FY18. It's not, we're not talking about the next year's budget. So that 1.9 is it designated, or is it just a line item for environmental assessment throughout the state? It's 1.9 designated for Rourke Bridge.
Yeah, but I think they can repurpose it
Right,
if they don't.
right. Okay, so we need to get on, we need to reach out to the governor and the governor's office to say, release this because it's got to be bid and it has to get going. So that's, I think that's, the motion's timely, and certainly that update is important as they're about to close out their fiscal year. So, very good, we'll get on it.
Council Belanger?
Maybe we can ask the mayor to reach out to the governor's office to push that.
Council Belanger?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. It's sort of, you know, a little frustrating to me that, you know, our delegation is working so hard to get this accomplished, but there's an old saying that there is strength in numbers. And although the bridge may be in Lowell, this bridge has a regional benefit. This is a cut-through for Chelmsford, for Dracut, for Tingsboro. I mean, where we need help from their representatives as well to put pressure on the State House. It shouldn't be entirely on us. We're doing everything we can, but their residents are using as much as us. And, you know, whether it's going to work or coming off Route 3 and going to even southern New Hampshire, but we're not going to get much relief from them, obviously. But, Mr. Manager, maybe a call to the town administrators, Tingsboro, Dracut, Chelmsford, say, hello, we need your help. This benefits your residents as well. And I'm sure they'd probably jump on board. So, again, a little frustrating that the burden is all on us, and it shouldn't be. It's not fair. Thank you very much.
Rick Kennedy? Council Elliott?
You know, what I was told by the delegation was that there was just a $100,000 line item. So it's good news to me that it's 1.9.
That's an
but-
earmark in the current budget for.
Right. I guess what I would suggest is, why don't we do all those things? Why don't we get in touch with the governor's office and get in touch, and the lieutenant governor's office and the delegation, and reach out to the other communities, and have NEMCOG do that as well. And maybe if we do all of those things together, then maybe we can get the money to get the environmental impact study done.
Council Lee?
I just, you know, Mr. Manager, you have more experience in this than we do. Why does it cost $1.9 million to do a study? I mean, we just saw what we got for our feasibility study in Lowell, and, I mean, really, that's a lot of money to tell us that, yeah, there's some plants and some wildlife and fish and this, I mean, really is, you know, a lot of money.
I don't have a lot of experience in environmental issues, but.
Well, I mean, working in the
I know.
legislature, I mean,
Yes, I know, it is expensive. But I've got to tell you is that they have been working. I mean, you were at the meeting that we had with Patricia Leavenworth in the mayor's, I strike that, in the members' lounge at the State House
Yeah.
a month, probably 6 weeks ago. And, you know, and Representative Gary from Dracut was there, and she made a pitch for it also. And, you know, we've been trying as hard as we can to get Mass DOT to release that money. And, you know, like you say, maybe if we bring some more pressure to bear. But I do have to defend the delegation. They've done a great job trying to release it, but DOT just won't do it.
Can you have the university do the study? Are they not qualified? I mean, it's just crazy amount of money that we allow to happen for this stuff.
Council Belanger, and Council Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. One quick point to Council Leahy's question. It's a good one, the high cost. But this environmental study will sort of narrow it down to one location. Now, they'll be looking at multiple locations, Councilor, to help, if not only where the bridge is, it's not just in doing an environmental impact study there, but the also 2 other proposed sites where it could go. And so I guess, with that being said, that it's more inclusive, the study, than rather just where it is, because don't forget, like Old Ferry Road, it could connect Old Ferry Road across the river. That environmental study needs to be take place up in that area as well. So it's a rather huge ground that needs to be covered to narrow this down to the best and most feasible location. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, Council Elliott.
No, I mean, it's, you know, for a project like that, I think the bridge is slated, it was at, I think, 22 million, who knows what it's at now. But, you know, the environmental, that's just a requirement. It's under the Massachusetts Environmental Policy Act. It's a statutory requirement that has to be done. I mean, they look at things as, you know, at pilings and the impact on the river and wetlands and floodplain for those various options, and that's just part of the construction protocol in Massachusetts. So, but it's imperative not to lose that feasibility study, because that outlines the various options. So, I do think that, you know, is a resolution an appropriate communication to the governor's office to release that money, or is what would you recommend through you, Mr. Mayor, or the manager, solicitor? I mean,
I think a
certainly we should
resolution
reach out
would be
to
good.
these communities, town managers and/or chairman of board of selectmen, to, you know, Chelmsford, Dracut, Kingsborough, those communities that come off Route 3. But sorry, I don't mean to dwell on about it, but I do think it's time to be strong politically as well as from a procedural perspective.
I'll have the law department draft a resolution, and then we can give it to the surrounding communities to draft similar resolutions and forward to the governor for some weight.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Anything else? Council Benazzo.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Do we run the risk of having this line item zeroed out as the state attempts to balance the budget as they close their fiscal year?
Manager.
That's always a possibility. My more fear is that they'll repurpose it to another community.
Okay.
So that's why I think we've been working so hard to try and get it, and this is a good move to try and get it.
The timing is good to
timing
get the
is good.
resolution out.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yeah, just finally, I think Council Milonazo makes a good point, because I do think that if it turns out that they do have to do additional cuts, this could be at risk. And so I think time is of the essence. It's not like we have 12 months to do this. I think we should be on this right away and try to get them to green light this in the next 2 months. So, and the resolution's a good idea as well, I think.
Anything else? All those opposed, all those in favor, motion passes. Last motion of the evening, 9.4 by Mayor Kennedy. Request city manager reconcile the FY18 budget with regards to the school department. Seconded by Council Leary. Mayor Kennedy.
Thank you. The next meeting will be at the end of the fiscal year. The school department is concerned about the way, it's somewhat ambiguous, the way the budget is for them, and so they need, and I would think that what we're gonna send down to the Department of Revenue has to be squared away for them. So that the motion just asks that that be reconciled to everybody's satisfaction before the end of the fiscal year, that's all.
Anything else? All opposed, those in favor, motion passes. It completes the motion part of the agenda. Next, are announcements. Any of those?
I have one.
Mayor Kennedy.
Thank you. I just would like to announce that, I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but there is a, every 2 years in Southeast Asia, there are the Asian Games, I guess is what they're called, which is similar to the Olympic Games, to the Summer Olympics. And Cambodia has a basketball team that participates in those and competes every 2 years. And as it turns out, there are 4 members, 4 of the starting 5 of the basketball team reside in Lowell. And so there's a fundraiser Thursday evening at the UTEC Hall on Warren Street to raise money for the USA Cambodia basketball team. There'll be food and a cash bar, and it's a $20 fee to get in. And I'm sure if anybody that goes will have a great time. So I think everybody's got a little notice on their desk, and I just wanted to announce that to everybody. That's all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anything else? Completes the announcements. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Mayor Kennedy, second by Council Mercia. Good night.